How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Higurashi When They Cry Chapter 3. We just finished another section, so we have some tips to go through. We have article and statistics from the Ministry of Health and Welfare. And in the last episode, Keiichi and Mion went to the sensei, Chie Sensei, I think is her name. And I guess we're going to try and get some help over to Satoko. But I strongly believe that it will not work out, and it will just completely backfire. Article 2, Definition of Child Abuse. The term child abuse means the following acts committed by a custodian, meaning a person who exercises parental authority, a guardian of a minor, or other person who is currently engaged in the custody of a child. Hereinafter the same shall apply. Against a child, meaning a person who is under 18 years of age, hereinafter the same shall apply. 1. Assault the child in a manner that will cause or is likely to cause external injury on the body of a child. 2. Engage in indecency against the child or cause the child to engage in indecency. 3. Substantially induce or reduce the amount of food for the child or abandon and neglect the child for a long time period in a manner that may interfere with normal development of the child mentally or physically, or otherwise materially fail to perform the duty of a custodian. Or 4. Speak or behave in a manner that would be significantly traumatic to the child. Article 3. Prohibition of child abuse. No person shall abuse a child. Law number, Act number 82 of 2000. Authorized by the Minister of Health and Welfare. Well, there you guys have it. We're brushing up on our Japanese legal laws and all that, which I think is a great thing. So it's somewhere in the 1900s, I think the 1980s, or 70s, who knows. Principal abusers in cases reported to the Ministry of Health and Welfare. Definitely the 80s. I think that's where this takes place. Total, 5,352. Mother by blood. 2,943, 55%. Mother not by blood, 203, 3.8%. Father by blood, 1,445, 27%. Father not by blood, 488, 9.1%. Again, somewhere in the 1900s, instances of type of abuse in cases reported to the Ministry of Health and Welfare. Total, 5,352. Physical abuse, 2,780, 51.9%. Neglect, abandonment of child, 1,728, 32.3%. Psychological abuse, 458, 8.6%. Forbidden from going to school, 75, 1.4%. I thought that'd be a little higher. Sexual violence, 311. Why is the music coming up now? I don't like how the music is now coming up. Obviously, that's not great that is a thing, but why is that coming up now while she's on the screen? Please. Abuse isn't great, and I wish no fictional character here in this game was going through it, or non-fictional, but please don't let it be sexual abuse. Please. The die of fate had been cast. Reporting to a public agency, which we'd kept being warned could instead result in something far worse for Satoko if we didn't have the evidence first. And just like that. Had I failed? Had I let my emotions get the better of me in that moment? Maybe I should have stayed silent and left everything to Mion since she had been relatively calm. I remember the punishment game where we had to badmouth Curry, and how me saying anything would have made it worse, and Satoko told us to leave the talking to her. Maybe it was the same thing here. I was impulsive, so maybe I should have just shut up and looked at the floor. But it was too late to laminate. The die I had thrown wouldn't be coming back into my hands. All we could do was pray for something good to happen.
Keiichi-kunはKeiichi-kunにできる精一杯をしたよ。だから、あとは先生たちに任せよう。ね。
俺にできる精一杯。本当に俺が死に物狂いに精一杯だったら、里子を夕べのうちに連れ出して、どこかの廃屋にでも隠れてる。そうならなかったってことは、俺は精一杯じゃなかったってことだろ。
I mean, there's a lot of things you could have done, but there's probably... The amount of things that you could have done is outweighed by the things that you shouldn't have done. If that makes sense. Like, the idea that he was coming up with of hiding her in, you know, his room or whatever. He could have done that, but he most definitely should not.
もう考えるのはよそ。圭一くん、少し根を詰めすぎだよ。
Oh, absolutely. By the way, juice of the session is Gatorade, not the knockoff Gatorade.
そんな調子じゃ、圭一くんまで倒れちゃ。
Just leave me alone. I left her with those words and stared lazily up at the ceiling. Sorry, trying to get some of this on-brand Gatorade in me. I wondered if I'd really got Chie-sensei to understand. Would the public agency intervene and solve everything within the day? Would they acknowledge the abuse and guarantee her safety? After lunch break, our afternoon classes were mostly self-study. The teacher came back to the classroom occasionally, but then the phone in the lounge would ring, and she'd have a long conversation with the caller. Everyone in the class got the feeling they knew what those phone calls were about. Sensei came trotting back from the classroom.
今日は何度も電話で本当にすみませんでしたね。では今日はこれでおしまいにします。委員長、号令。起立。
Wait, are we getting out of school early, or is it just time to leave? I don't know. It looked to me like Sensei had been wearing a dark expression ever since our lunch break, or since after lunch break. It wasn't a very relieving expression. It wouldn't be. Even if Sensei 100% understood the situation and passionately explained it to the other person, at the end the Child Consultation Center, as a public agency, would be the ones to decide whether to get her to safety. Sensei understood that as well as us, and that's why she looked so unreliable right now.
ケイちゃん、帰ろうよ。部活する気も起きないでしょ。
みーちゃん、部活は誰がかけても面白くないよ。
Rena was right. It was no fun for us if someone was missing. If the teacher's expression had shown more promise, then maybe we could have gone home more comfortably. But I couldn't let myself feel relieved. I couldn't be naive and tell myself all I could do is pray, now that the dice had been cast. Just in case I didn't get her to safety and decided to wait and see again, I'd need to make further measures. We've asked the people who could do something official already. And then there was one more place that was worth asking for help. She might laugh it off, or I might be right and I could be endangering my own life. But I'd try.
あ、ミオ、今日さ、お前の家に寄ってもいいか？お前、漫画かなり持ってるんだろ？少しまとめ狩りしたいんだけどな。
え？いいけど。
There was an ominous meaning behind my words, so Mion realized what I really meant right away. I wanted to talk about something alone. And that's what I meant.
兄ちゃん、圭一くん、早く帰ろう。
Rena already had her shoes on and was waving to us from the schoolyard. Mion's house was gigantic in every way imaginable. The house itself was a vaguely old-fashioned traditional Japanese house, but the yard, I guess, or the plot of land was enormous. It easily convinced me that they really were major landowners, with Hinamizawa under their thumb. Yes, absolutely. We got that political lingo down from the previous chapter. Mion brought me through the guest room, and a servant brought us some tea.
へえ、さすが金持ちだな。お手伝いさんなんか雇ってるのかよ。
私とバッチャしか住んでないもの。私だけじゃやってけないよ。
The servant left, telling us it was 5 o'clock, and then withdrew with soft footsteps.
週に2、3回ね。バッチャの世話とか掃除の手伝いで来てくれてる。3、4人がローテーションで入ってくれてるんで、大抵毎日誰かがいてくれるよ。夕方までだけどね。あ、宴会とかがあって人手が欲しい時には別途に呼んでるんだけどさ。
If you had the money to hire all these people, then just take Satoko in. I glared at her as I thought that, and Mion seemed to catch on immediately.
あ、ごめん。
いいよ。金の問題じゃないことは分かってるからな。
先に言っとくけど、私に自由にできるお金は全くないんだからね。そこだけは誤解しないでほしい。
It kind of looked like I was bullying her. Mion had been apologizing to me a lot lately. Was Mion the sort of person who would do that much, or who would do that this much? Maybe it's just that I've been looking so grim lately.
でさ、何？ケイちゃん、なんか話があったんじゃないの？
ミオンにかなり本気な話がある。突然な話でミオンは面食らうかもしれないが、聞いてほしい。
何？
あ、先に逃げ道を渡しておくな。仮に本当だったとして、ミオンはそれを認めてくれなくてもいい。しらばっくれててもいい。だけれど最後まで俺の話は聞いてほしい。
What are we gonna come out and
鬼ヶ
say?
淵村御三家の今や筆頭家、その次期当主の園崎ミオンに話がある。
Oh. At first, Mion looked like she had no idea what I was saying, but at hearing the whole sentence and putting it together, she reacted.
どこで聞いたの？
それは関係ないことだ。
I definitely couldn't tell her who told me. Takano-san, you told me not to, but please forgive me. Oh, she revealed everything. Okay. That'll speed things along. Yeah, okay, that happened in the last episode, right? This was why I asked you about it after all.
ケイちゃんが鬼ヶ淵村の名を知ってることだけでも驚きだけど、私についていろいろとあることないことを知ってそうだね。
ああ、あることない。俺が勘違いしてるだけなのかもしれない。でもそれでもいいから聞いてくれ。そしてもしも本当なんだったら。
ケイちゃんが何の話をしようとしてるかわからないけど、話す前に釘を刺すよ。とにかくケイちゃんは大きな勘違いをしてる。だからできるなら私はケイちゃんの話も聞きたくない。聞いても何も叶えてあげられないからね。でも話すことでケイちゃんの肩が少しでも軽くなるなら聞くよ。本当に聞くだけ。何も起こらないよ。それでもいいね。
ああ。
Mion seemed to know what kind of thing I'd be talking about. She warned me that doing so would be fruitless. That much was obvious. If what I was going to say was true, then the Sonozaki family would be the masterminds behind the string of freak deaths that had been occurring every year in Hinamizawa.
お社様のたたりってあるよな。
Mion nodded a little.
正体不明。なぜ起こるのかも不明。個々には解決しながらも、全体で見れば不可解な連続開始、連続失踪事件。でも一つだけ共通することがある。それは必ず村の旧敵が標的に選ばれること。
みたいだね。
Mion spoke as if it didn't relate to her. And that was fine. She didn't have to admit it. For now, I just wanted her to stay quiet and listen to me.
あさってだろ、綿流し。今年のたたりの犠牲者ってさ、もう決まってるのか？
Mion didn't answer. Her expression remained the same, too. Like she said, she was just quietly listening.
あ、ごめんな。聞いてるだけって約束なのに、質問しちゃ変だよな。
Mion gave me a look that she'd never given me before. A faraway look, a sympathetic one. She didn't nod, she just smiled faintly and listened to me.
もしも今年のたたりが聡子のおじじゃなかったなら、だって去年は聡子のおばだろ。順番から言えば決しておかしくはないだろう。
そうだね。そういう順序もあるね。
第一、あいつ去年のたたりでおばが死んだ後、聡子を放り出して丸1年町に逃げ出してたじゃないか。
And now he's back to experience death.
そんなやつもろにお社様のたたり確定じゃないかよ。今年のたたりに選んでも不足はないはずだぜ。
Well, what I want to know, if this is a predetermined thing that the Sonozaki family is carrying out, which definitely seems to be the deal based on the events of Chapter 2. Might be a little bit more complicated than that, but Why is it that Tomitake-san and Takano-san are targeted? What evil do they bring? Obviously, Takano-san seems to be the worst of it, but I think Tomitake is the one that literally gets killed, and Takano-san, at least from chapter 1, was demoned away, disappeared, whatever. In chapter 2, they both died. Regardless, I want to know why. In chapter 2, it's completely understandable why, but why in general are they targeted?
そうだね。今年のたたりであいつが死んでも、多分みんな納得するね。
俺、聞いたんだ。お社様のたたりってのは、その...
No matter how I looked at it, I wasn't sure whether I should continue. No matter how I tried, the words wouldn't come out.
hinamizawa連続開始事件。通称、お社様のたたりは、園崎家が主導で御三家が起こしている村ぐるみの事件だ。でしょ？
別に俺は、それにミオンが関わってるとか、そんなのには興味がないんだ。ただ、もしも、そういうたたりを決めている連中に渡りがつくなら、Satokoのおじをたたりに選ぶように言ってほしいだけなんだ。頼む。
ケイちゃんの言ってる内容はさっきから本当にひどいこと。
It really has been. We can just die right now.
hinamizawa連続開始事件が園崎家主導の事件なんだとしたら、それじゃあ主犯格は私ってことだよね。私がたたりを決め指示をし、何人も殺めて消したことになる。ケイちゃんは私を人殺し呼ばわりするんだ。
Well, you know, you're a nice person and all, Mion, but from what I've seen, and from what you guys have seen, and from what my right hand has seen, you know, just, yeah, you're a murderer for sure.
だから、
Oh, but I'm saying it.
言ってるじゃないか。ミオンが連続殺人の主犯だろうと、無関係だろうと、たとえミオンが殺人犯だって、俺の親友であることには、それでも全然構わないんだぜ。警察に追われたら助けてやる。お前のアリバイを作ってやるし、逃走だって助けてやる。仲間で親友だからだ。そうだろ。
Mion looked surprised for a while. She was dumbfounded.
いきなり共犯宣言？ケイちゃん、かなり大胆だよそれ。
いいから話の腰を折るな。Satokoのおじを今年のたたりに。
ケイちゃんストップ。そろそろご飯の準備をしたいから、今日はこれくらいにしたいんだけど。
ミオン。
I then realized that my cheeks were wet with tears. They slid down my chin and fell, drip drop to the tatami mat.
最初から言ってる通り、ケイちゃんは大きな勘違いをしてる。お社様のたたりはお社様のたたり。たとえ人間の起こした事件であったにせよ、それは園崎家とは、ましてや私とは何の関係もないよ。
ああ、それは分かっているさ。
だからケイちゃんの必死の訴えには胸を打たれるけど、それだけ。私が叶えてあげたくても叶えてあげられない。それもわかるね。
ああ。
でもケイちゃんの気持ちは痛いくらいに分かったよ。もしも本当に私がケイちゃんの言うように御三家を操って毎年の犠牲者を選べる立場にあったなら、きっと私はケイちゃんの願いを叶えているよ。
ミオン。
でも現実は違う。私はただの園崎ミオン。確かに園崎家はいろいろな意味で悪い噂を持ってhinamizawaを影から支配している一族だけれども、連続開始事件とは何の関係もない。ダム闘争では確かに少々過激な抵抗もしたけれど、それだけ。人殺しなんて大それたこと絶対にやらないよ。
そんな悲しいこと言うなよ。せめて今だけでも嘘でもいいからうなずいてくれればいいじゃないか。
ケイちゃん、夢を見るのは勝手。私がここでうなずいてみせれば、ケイちゃんはSatokoがあさっての夜に解放されると信じて肩の荷を下ろすことができるんだろうけどね。
Taking the easy way out, if you
で
will.
も無情にも聡子の叔父はあさっての夜も超える。来週になっても再来週になっても居続ける。それを覚悟してね。私は綿流しの次の日になぜ殺さなかったなんてケイちゃんに詰め寄られたくない。
ミオン。
Okay, bye, I guess. Mion stood up slowly and closed the sliding door to keep out the wind that had grown chilly.
ミオさんかな。ケイちゃんにそんな話を吹き込んだのは。あの人、Hinamizawaをいい感じに誤解してるからな。まあ、本人が一人で楽しんでる分にはいいんだけど。ケイちゃんを感化するのはいただけないな。やれやれ。これだからよそ者は。
高野さんは関係ないからな。
Hold up, that line where she said outsiders really are no good. I don't know, I mean, it could just be the fact that the two of them are outsiders, and you know what, that's it. That is it. In chapters 1, 2, and 3, the two of them are literally influencing Keiichi. In chapter 1, they're the ones that told him about all of this on the night of Watanagashi. In chapter 2, they broke in to the storehouse. And in chapter 3, it's the same shit. The two of them influenced him even more so, telling him more things that may or may not be true. I mean, a lot of it does seem to be true based on the events that we've seen, but I think it's just the fact that they're outsiders and they're prying their shit into this, you know? I think that's it. And it's causing disarray. That's why they're going to die. That is my prediction.
はいはい。でも安心して。仮にミオさんがケイちゃんに喋ったと分かったって別にどうにもならないんだから。別にミオさんが今年のタタリに選ばれるわけじゃない。そもそも今年もタタリがあるかどうかなんてわからないよ。あんなの不幸な偶然がただ積み重なっただけなんだからさ。
聞いてくれてありがとな。もしもミオンが連続事件と何の関係もなかったなら謝っておくな。
そうだね。謝っておいてくれるかな。
Damn, that was sad. I don't know why, but I got a sad feeling from that. But I'm not, I really do not know why, but I just felt sad after that. I need to consider some things from that. Mion said that she didn't have much time, but she still brought me to the gate. She said that she had a meeting or something today about Sunday's Watanagashi festival, so there would be a lot of people from the town council and the festival committee coming. Despite her day being so busy, she still listened to what I had to say.
天に神様がいるならさ、きっとケイちゃんの強い思いは伝わるから。
あ、今日は変な話をして本当にごめんな。今日の話はなかったことにしてくれていい？
うん、忘れておくよ。
じゃあ明日な。
バイバイ。
I had really only spent a short time with Mion. Talking to her made me think. It was clear that what Takano had told me at least wasn't a complete fabrication. If Mion was really, really unconnected to the incidents, then she probably wouldn't have listened to me so quietly. She heard me out until I was done without making any quips, and I wanted to think that was proof. Oh yeah, definitely. I did kind of feel like I was grasping at straws. Of course, thinking back on it, it was a terrible thing to discuss. I mean, I went to my friend's house, called her a serial murderer, and then told her to kill Satoko's uncle. I was the only one talking that whole time. Mion quietly listened to everything I had to say like a pastor listening to a confession. She could have gotten angry partway through, told me off, and to go wash my face in miso soup and come back later. But she didn't. Was that proof that Mion's family, the Sonozaki, were the masterminds? Or was she just listening because she felt sorry for me going kind of crazy? I didn't know which it was. But it was the one effort I could make at the moment. It was another form of insurance, should worst come to worst, and the public agency decided to wait and see. I guess we get to wait and see if they will wait and see. It was a completely useless resistance, literally grasping at straws. Sensei said that if she reported it to the child consultation center, they'd have to respond on the same day. Could they already be in the middle of responding to it now? If Satoko came to school tomorrow morning all energetic, then everything would be just a needless fear. Why couldn't tomorrow come faster? Well, you know, the sun has to set. Oh, there we go. Perfect. We're already halfway there. That night was unusually hot and humid, and I couldn't get to sleep. I said all that to Sensei. They couldn't possibly decide to wait and see again this year. Satoko, what was it like for her tonight? Had she tasted the end of her nightmare, enjoying a night of liberation? I actually put my hands together and prayed into my futon. And then the day came. Right? Yeah, there it is. There's the day. It had come. And so have I.
おはよう、ケイチくん。
おはよ
よかった。今日もお寝坊かと思ったよ。昨日はおばさまには先に行ったって言われるし、学校には来ていないし、途中で日射病で倒れちゃったのかなって心配してたんだから。
う。へいへい。昨日は心配かけて申し訳ございませんでした。
Hey, good morning!
みーちゃん、おはよう。大丈夫？なんかすっごく眠そうだよ。
そういえば昨日は遅くまで町会の人が集まっての打ち合わせ会だったんだろ？
打ち合わせ会なんて名ばかりの宴会だよ。毎年やってるお祭りだもん。今さら小難しい打ち合わせなんかないし。
今日の午後はやっぱりお祭りのお手伝いに行くのかな？
Yeah, the festival's tomorrow. It has
抹
finally
茶の代わ
come.
りにいろいろ挨拶しなきゃなんないし。それにね、祭りってのは準備からもう始まってるからね。
Our morning conversation was lighthearted as usual. It looked like Mion had thankfully forgotten about how I'd barged into her house yesterday with that crazy talk. The more I think back on it, I feel like I'd really said something terrible to her. I was really thoughtless, and it wouldn't have been weird if she'd yelled at me. It was highly possible Takano-san had exaggerated her story. To think that our comrade and friend, Mion, the young leader of the Sonozakis, one of the three families effectively controlling Hinamizawa, was pulling the strings behind the serial death incidents, was a little unbelievable. But if there was even a 1% chance that it was true, then what I said yesterday to Mion might have been a success. Yes, it was no more than 1 in 100, but that little bit of effort might have brought the chances of saving Satoko up by even a tiny bit. At least I'd made that effort. After yesterday ended, I was sure I'd done everything I possibly could. If there was something else I could do, it was probably just to clap my hands and pray that Satoko's uncle would be killed by the curse.
さとこ、今日は来ているといいな。
そうだね。先生がいろいろと手配してくれたんでしょ？うん、きっと大丈夫だよ。
Hinamizawa地区の民生委員が私のおばさんなんだけどさ、ゆうべ電話して聞いてみたよ。
へえ、みーちゃんのおばさんって民生委員さんなんだね。それで、さとこちゃんのことなんて言ってたの？
うん。先生があの後、直接沖宮の生活相談所に電話してね、担当の職員さんが夕べのうちに訪問したらしいよ。私のおばさんにも今後定期的にアプローチするようにと連絡があったって。
小難しい話はいいよ。それより、さとこはどうなったんだよ。保護されたのか？
おばさんはそこまでは知らされてなかったみたい。本来はこういうのって秘密だからね。おばさんが私に話してくれたのも十分に倫理違反なんだしさ。
Hell yeah, break the law.
くそ、かえって不安になったぞ。
行こう、学校に。
Right. Discussing this more would just make us feel worse. It was far quicker to go to school and see if Satoko was safe or not. True that. The three of us nodded and ran off. Was Satoko safe? What measures had the Child Consultation Center taken? I didn't care what, as long as we could go back to our peaceful life with Satoko today, it didn't matter to me. At the shoe racks at the entrance, Rena took a peek at Satoko's shoe cubby.
あ、さとこちゃんの靴ある よ。あれ、ケイチくん、さとこちゃんは来てるよ。よかった。
来てるだけじゃわからないだろ。サトコの顔を見るまで何もわかるものか。
We trotted towards the classroom. The classroom was lively as it usually was in the morning.
サトコ、どこだ？
ここにちゃんといますですよ。朝っぱらから騒々しいですわね。少しはお静かになさいませ。さとこちゃん、大丈夫だった？
All of our friends crowded around Satoko excitedly.
あのさ、さとこ、家で、どういう話になったわけ？
呼んだのはどなたですの？まったく、どんな騒ぎでしたのよ。
先生だよ。あれだけ欠席すりゃ心配もする。
Satoko said, I told you I'm fine under her breath. She was still trying to overcome all the suffering on her own.
私もおじさまもとんだ迷惑でしたのよ。急にあんなに人に押しかけられて、もう。みんなさとこちゃんのこと心配してたんだよ。迷惑だなんて言わないで。
ああ、もうとにかくそれでどうなったんだよ。
どうもこうもしませんわ。風邪が治ったから学校に来ただけのことですのよ。これからはあんまりお休みして心配をかけないようにしないといけませんわね。
What was Satoko saying?
おじさんはどうなったの？ええ、多少誤解があったことを認めて、二人でごめんなさいをしまして。
Oh, fuck. Rika-chan grabbed the back of my collar and pulled me away.
なんだよ、リカちゃん。
Rika-chan silently dragged me all the way into the hallway.
リカちゃん、あれはどういうことだよ。
さとこは、何でもないと言って追い返してしまいました。
No, god damn it.
バカ野郎！なんで？
Oh wait, he was gonna say idiot. I thought he said I'd, like, I would, I did, whatever. No, somewhere in my mind, I thought it might turn out like this. Satoko didn't ask for anyone's help. She didn't hide behind anyone. She was trying to ride out this pain. She wanted to show Satoshi proof that if he came back to them, she wouldn't need to hide behind him anymore.
だけど、監督に聞いた話じゃ、保護士ってのは本人の意思に関係なく緊急保護をすることができるんだろう。いくらサトコが虐待を否定したって、虐待は事実。
Chie-sensei finally came. Her expression was far from cheerful.
前原くんの言う通り、児童福祉士は緊急性があると判断すれば、職権で緊急保護をすることができます。当事者の意思に関係なく。
じゃあどうしてサトコの意思が変に尊重されて保護されないことに？
それに沖宮の相談所もいろいろ検討した末にそういう判断を。
なんだよそりゃ！先生、昨日あんた絶対に助けるから大丈夫って言わなかったか？これはどういうことだよ！おかしいじゃねえかよ！おい！
Bro, my god.
ケイチ、実はこれが3回目なのです。過去にも2回あったのです。
古出さん。
Sensei tried to stop her, but Rika-chan went on speaking anyway.
過去に一昨年の冬に通報して様子見になったって話は聞いてるが、その前にもあったのか？
サトコの死んでしまったお父さんはサトコの本当のお父さんではないのです。
Huh?
リカちゃん、それが
I'm stunned at the sudden revelation. I had no idea what Rika-chan wanted to tell me, but it seemed really important, so I couldn't get a word in either.
サトコのお母さんは再婚なのです。サトコとサトシはお母さんの連れ子で、お父さんとは血はつながっていなかったのです。
Satoshi was a good kid one who listened politely to what adults told him. He was immediately welcomed by their new father and was loved. But Satoko was different. She was rebellious, she told lies, she played pranks. Her stepfather didn't like her at all.
つまりどういうことだよ？
サトコはおじ夫婦に預けられる以前の家族の時も あまり良好な家族関係ではなかったのです。
Of course, her stepfather didn't have any malicious intent at the start. At first, he must have worked hard to get his new daughter to accept him. But the young Satoko didn't make any effort at all towards that end. She was distant towards her stepfather and never opened her heart to him even a little. She just got on his nerves all the time with seemingly forced lies and pranks. Her father's discipline and punishment must have been loving at first, of course, but that too faded quickly.
私はその時はHinamizawaにいなかったから、昨日電話で初めて知りました。
先生が聞いたのはどんな話ですか？
さとこちゃんが。
Okay, before we go any further, I think we gotta end this episode here, because I feel like we're just gonna be going into more painful shit, revealing more about Satoko's past, probably just straight up more awful shit. I'll save it for the next episode. Plus, I'm not feeling really well, so it's probably best to end the episode here. Thank you all for watching this one. I guess every episode just has to be sad and depressing now, but it's all good. It beats it being scary. I hate it when it's scary. Thank you for watching this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.